And welcome back to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. We're speaking with Luci McMonagle, a mystic wealth creator. And of course, we're also live on our Facebook live stream. Dennis, good afternoon to you too. Thank you so much. So, Luci, I was wondering if you could give us an example of how you kind of do your work. Like, give us a client example of someone who came to see you, what they were dealing with, and sort of how things transformed from doing your sort of generational clearing with them.
So one of the things, and I'm not going to name names,
of course,
I do like to keep my clients confidential. You can see testimonials on my website. One of the clients that was having tremendous amounts of difficulties trying to get her business to go forward. She would get a couple of clients and then she wouldn't get any, or clients would come to her and they'd really want to see her and work with her, and she just couldn't seem to get anybody that could even quote unquote afford her or pay for her services.
Right.
And we did the generational clearing, and we started working with one another. And the clearing opened up the door for her to go from 1 or 2 discovery sessions a month to about 3 or 4 within the next couple of days, which was pretty good. And as we worked, we did some more clearings, because the generational clearing was just the beginning. And when she started finding her actual unique gifts and she started accepting them and incorporating them into business, she went from just that 3 or 4 sessions after the clearing to having a day and a half booked back to back with all discovery sessions. And she was able to pick up over 60% of those clients that she had discovery sessions with.
Wow. And so when you did the generational clearing, what did you kind of find in her lineage? What was the blockage of her?
Several of the blockages that were for her were anxiety, self-worth issues, poverty, acceptance, not believing in her power. And I also discovered that there was links between the women were supposed to be homebodies. They were supposed to be raising their children only and not providing a source of income. So when we were able to really start clearing her issue that her female family had with the male patterns, and she was able to track this back, she looked at her mom, her grandmother, her great-grandmother, and she noticed all of them were stay-at-home moms. She decided she wanted to start being the breadwinner. That completely changed the dynamics, but she still had that pattern where she should be relying on somebody else for income.
Gotcha. Now, after you did this clearing, did she just physically, did she do anything different, or was she just still doing the same things, but just now that the energy was different, people started responding differently?
Both. She did start doing things differently because she felt so much more confident. She had this feeling of, I can do anything, I can accomplish anything. And she started taking more action instead of procrastination.
Gotcha. See, so again, the action part is important. I mean, we have to pay attention to the energy side. We have to pay attention to how we feel, how we show up, the energy that we're bringing to the situation. But once that is in alignment, then the actions change as well, don't they?
That's correct.
Right. So I'm sure we have, people listening who are thinking to themselves, well, that's great, but like, what can I do on my own? Do you have any suggestions or recommendations to people listening to this of like, what can they do to try and start to uncover maybe what are some of their generational blocks that are keeping them from achieving more in their life?
One of the main things that you can start doing is really starting to figure out what patterns have been going on. ask your family members, take notice, pay attention. Have you had any patterns that are repetitive? Are there things in your family that just seem uncanny? Do you have circumstances where there's a repetitive depression? Do you have family members that are repetitively using certain words like "I'm broke" all the time, or belief systems that might be hindering you?
Right. Yeah, like paying attention to language of what comes out of a person's mouth really kind of shows you what they believe in, doesn't it? Because, if we have a certain belief, it's going to show up in our language.
Correct. It will.
Right, right.
And then the other thing that they might want to do is, I have this 21 days magical money manifestation tips that they can also get.
Oh, wonderful. And where can they find that?
They can find that at my name, Luci McMonagle, LuciMcMonagle.com/SAM, SAM.
That's wonderful. So, yes, just go to her website /Sam, which is me. And so this way she'll know all the wonderful people that have listened to this show, that have come to them. So thank you for offering that to our audience, Luci. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. And a big shout out to Jennifer and Kai for joining us on the Facebook live stream. So, Luci, how would you say what you do is different from, other people who do sort of healings and clearings? What's kind of unique about Luci? What makes her different?
What makes me different is I combined the 20 plus years of experience of seeing and working with different healers, and also developing my own system, so that I am able to completely pinpoint what's going on, and then we label it with a name. And from there, I am able to really start looking at how to bring up your soul gift. So if I look at your face, I can tell you what your soul attributes are. Where most healers and other mystics, they can't tell you what your soul attributes are in addition to doing the clearing. So I clear the negative energy, and then we bring out what you're truly supposed to bring into the world.
Gotcha. So I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So we've met in person. We're both members of the Evolutionary Business Council. We met just recently out in Oceanside, California, at a wonderful, wonderful deep dive retreat. So I'm wondering if you can recall my face and you know what it was like to be with me. If you could pull out maybe one of my soul gifts.
So one of your soul gifts that you're meant to bring out into the world is that you're supposed to bring more peace and harmony into the world through your own personal relationships, but also through your voice and through your writings. And if you haven't written much, if you haven't written your book yet, because I don't know you that well,
right.
You're really supposed to bring in your gifts through writing and through your voice.
Well, good thing I have a radio show then, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And believe it or not, I actually do have the rough workings of a book already. I've taken, I've been doing blogging for a few years now, and I actually have something that is about 200 pages long. It needs to be edited. It needs to be worked on a little bit. I'm looking for somebody to work with, and I just haven't had time yet. So I do have that book that will be coming out. I can't say when, but it is going to. I'm going to start working on that a bit. And I actually do have an idea for sort of a spiritual science fiction action adventure series. So I do have some ideas running around, and just about creating the time to get it all done. So that very much is in alignment. So thank you for that, Luci. I really appreciate that.
Yes, and I believe you're going to have that book out in 2018.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you. I can see that happening.
Yes. I'm encouraging that to happen in 2018 for you, Sam.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lucy. Okay, so believe it or not, we're coming to the end of our show. So please, let our audience know, how can they get in touch with you? How can they find out more about you and your services?
The best way to get in touch with me is to connect with me via Facebook at my name, Luci McMonagle with the number 1. They can connect with me on LinkedIn, just look for my name, or Twitter. And they can go to my website at lucimcmonagle.com.
Awesome, Lucy. Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time out to come onto the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, Sam, and thank you for your graces when I had technical difficulties and I was not able to call in.
No worries, no worries. I'm used to having to do some fancy footwork when things like that happen. So have yourself a great day, Lucy. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, take care. And so just a couple of quick announcements for our audience. I just want to let people know that we're having a little bit of change of the Thursday lineup. Actually, this week is kind of going to be the last week of having Kai Cole's show, Our Daily Magic, before my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour. And Adam's show, Is It Plugged In, is actually going to move down from the 2 p.m. slot to the 3 p.m. slot. Kai's show is going to go into the 2 p.m. slot, and Adam is actually going to premiere a new name for his show. So if you want to keep up to date on all the changes, make sure you go to our website, Talkradio.nyc, sign up for our newsletter so you can keep up to date on the latest schedule changes. Lots of things happening between now and the end of the year, so you really want to keep in touch with that so you know everything that's happening. And I also just want to remind my audience that, I do a lot of healing, coaching, facilitation work myself. And if any of the things that I said throughout the broadcast today, over the last several weeks, if there's something that I said that touches you, that reaches you, that make something click in the back of your mind, and you would like an opportunity to perhaps explore working with me more personally, please reach out to me. Of course, you can get a hold of me here at the Double Diamond Wellness Center. Our number is 212-721-8183, or feel free to email me at sam@theconsciousconsultant.com. You can find me on Facebook at Sam Liebowitz, on Twitter at Sam Liebowitz, and that's spelled Liebowitz. Jennifer Hillman, thank you so much. Glad you enjoyed the show. Again, please feel free to share the Facebook live stream video. If you've got something out of it, you think it's worth watching and listening to, please feel free to share it with your audiences, and let's help get the word out there. So it's the end of another show. Please stay tuned for Oscar Nordstrom and his show Off the Beaten Path, talking about, history, science, sports, all kinds of amazing things. I think it's something, a really valuable show. I learn a lot every time I listen to his show every week. So please stay tuned for him, followed by Is It Plugged In with Adam Weinberg, and we will speak to you next week.